evening, members of the council.
Good evening, Madam Mayor.
Can I invite my chaplain to lead us in prayer?
Let us pray. Today in the church's calendar, it's Ascension Day, a day on which many Christians pray with these words. Risen Christ, you have raised our human nature to the throne of heaven. Help us to seek and serve you, that we may join you at the Father's side, where you reign with the Spirit in glory now and forever. So we pray for the work of this council as it seeks to serve the people of this borough. And as today a new mayor is elected, we give thanks for the work of the mayors of this borough, past, present, and future. We pray that the holder of this office will always bring encouragement and hope to the people of the borough as they work in education, innovation, industry, tourism, health and social care, the voluntary sector, and many other areas of the borough's life are highlighted through the visits conducted by the mayor. So we pray your blessing upon our current mayor as she leaves office, and also your blessing upon the new mayor elected today. We also give thanks for the work of all ward councillors, past and present, praying that all would serve this borough to the best of their ability. And we would particularly give thanks today for the work over so many years on this council and in the wards of Cradley and Woolliscote, for the late Councillor Richard Body, praying for his family, friends and colleagues as they mourn his loss. And I invite you to join with me in praying the prayer that Jesus taught. Our Father, who art in heaven, hallowed be thy name. Thy kingdom come, thy will be done on earth as it is in heaven. Give us this day our daily bread, and forgive us our trespasses, as we forgive those who trespass against us. And lead us not into temptation, but deliver us from evil. For thine is the kingdom, the power, and the glory, forever and ever. Amen.
Please be seated. This meeting is being live streamed on the internet and recorded for future viewing. Photographs may also be taken during the meeting. Could everyone please ensure that mobile devices are either switched off or turned to silence? Election of the Mayor for 2023-24 municipal year. I call for nominations.
Thank you, Madam Mayor. Madam Mayor, I nominate Councillor Andrea Goddard.
Are there any other nominations? Oh, sorry. Is the nomination seconded? Sorry, I missed something.
Formally seconded,
Thank
Madam
you.
Mayor.
Are there any other nominations? I hereby declare that Councillor Andrea Goddard has been elected as Mayor of the Borough for 2023-24.
Madam Mayor, may I ask that you make and subscribe to the Declaration of Acceptance of Office?
I, Andrea Goddard, having been, being elected to the office of Mayor of Dudley Metropolitan Borough Council, declare that I take the office upon myself and will duly and faithfully fulfil the duties of it according to the best of my judgment and ability. I undertake to comply with the Members' Code of Conduct in the performance of my functions in that office.
Congratulations, Madam Mayor.
Thank you. So moving on to the election of the Deputy Mayor for the 2023-2024 municipal year, I call for nominations.
Thank you, Madam Mayor, and welcome to your new role. Madam Mayor, I nominate Councillor Pete Lee.
Is the nomination seconded?
Formally seconded, Madam Mayor.
And does any other member wish to speak on the nomination? Are there any other nominations? I hereby declare that Councillor Peter Lee has been elected as Deputy Mayor of the Borough for 2023 and 24. There will now be a short adjournment to enable robing to take place. Could members please remain in the hall during the adjournment? Thank you. Please be seated.
I now call on Councillor Peatley to make and subscribe to the declaration of acceptance of office of Deputy Mayor.
I, Peter John Lee, having been elected to the office of Deputy Mayor of Dudley Metropolitan Borough Council, declare that I take the office upon myself and will duly and faithfully fulfil the duties of it according to the best of my judgment and ability.
Congratulations, Mr. Deputy Mayor.
Thank you very much.
Firstly, can I thank you all for trusting me to be elected as the new Mayor of Dudley. Can I now call on Councillors Patrick Harley and Zada to pay tribute to the retiring Mayor and Mayor's Consort.
Thank you, Madam Mayor. Madam Mayor, what can I say about Sue Greenaway? She is Pensnet and Brockmore through and through. She won the seat of Brockmore and Pensnet in 2008 and held it for 4 years. And during the time from 2012 until 2019, she was asked, begged, requested many times by the Dudley South Association to come on, stand somewhere else. We need your expertise, your experience, your hard work back on the council in one of our wards, Kingswingford, Wallheath, Wordsley. And each and every time, Madam Mayor, she politely declined, only wanting to stand in the ward in which she has lived for the vast majority of her life, a ward that she holds dear to her heart. And in those years that she spent out of office from 2012 to 2019, she helped many residents. She continued to do the work of a ward councillor. She continued to attend and help community groups, much to my frustrations when I was trying to get her to do something else. The response would be, but today I'm dealing with my ladies. How many times have I heard that phrase? I have to deal with my ladies, rather than come and help me with something. That is the measure of this lady, of this individual. We talk about community councillors. This is someone who, out of office, gave everything to her local community. And of course, she was richly repaid that in 2019 by securing the seat, having narrowly failed to win it in 2018. Sue Greenaway is a perfect example of what local politics is like. Not a political animal. There are a few of those in this room who huff and puff and we play the game of hurling the political bric-a-bats at one another. But Sue is one of those community champions who has given her all for many, many years. And I'm confident, Madam Mayor, that in time she will have a very good rest over the next 12 months, but I'm sure she will be back in the council chamber, either representing Brockmore and Pensnet, or if she's not doing that, I hope somewhere else, because we can't afford to lose community champions like Councillor Sue Greenaway. And finally, Madam Mayor, I did make a promise when she last won the seat of Brockmore and Pensnet that I would actually buy her some suitable footwear. I think these are awful, but the former mayor absolutely loves Crocs. So it's 4 years late, Sue, but I would like to present you with these very special Crocs. Thank you, Madam Mayor.
Thank you, Councillor.
Thank you, Madam Mayor. And firstly, can I congratulate you on taking up the post of Mayor of Dudley as well. What I can say, just picking off on where Councillor Harley left, is I'm glad that Crocs will remain in Brockmore and Pensnet, because we have somebody that's come from wearing Crocs on a daily basis as a theatre nurse who will now be representing the same ward. Can I say thank you to the outgoing mayor for her time in office. I've never been a mayor and don't have any ambitions to be so, but I know how much it takes up of your personal time and your personal life and the decisions that you have to make to be present. And I know that's not just a 9 to 5, having spoken to colleagues on this side, it's actually in the evening and also on the weekend. So I recognise the contribution that you will have made to this role. I also recognise the need to celebrate our mayors, both our former mayors and our future mayors, and whichever side of the political spectrum that they are on, I fully support the need to be a part of that celebration and recognising the contribution that they will make for us in the next 12 months. The role of the mayor is to be the first citizen of this borough and be those that lead and represent us when we're not in this council chamber. What we shouldn't forget, and I'm sure the outgoing mayor will remind us, is the vast amount of money that is raised in these roles, and they benefit people in this borough, those people that wouldn't ordinarily have secured any support of any charitable amount from any other routes, and it relies on mayors doing activities and getting involved in events. So I suspect you'll have got involved in things that wasn't necessarily something out of choice, but you know, whatever sprints, marathons, on bikes, whatever you've done, I think those people that will see the benefit of it, and those are our neighbours, will appreciate it as I do. I obviously don't have the same regret around Brockmore and Pensnet, but I do want to thank you for your time in office. I also don't have the same confidence about your return, mind you, but that's separate.
Thank you, Councillor Selden. Could I now call on Sue Greenaway to come and collect her past mayor's badge from the Chief Executive? And I invite you to say a few words.
Thank you. Thank you very much for all those kind words, particularly you, Patrick. It's about time you got me those Crocs. I shall wear them diligently for the next year. Probably they'll be worn out by next year. What an honour it's been to serve Dudley Borough for the last 12 months as the mayor. I've certainly had an amazing year, and I don't think there'll be another year like it for a good while, maybe 20, 30 years. We had the Silver Jubilee, Commonwealth Games, sadly the demise of our lovely Queen Elizabeth II, and then the proclamation of the King. So that was history in the making. And I managed to get my grandchildren up on the steps, so they'll be there as well in the pictures, long time to come. And then the coronation. So this last 12 months for the mayors of the whole of England has been an absolute privilege and a pleasure to do. All the things that I've done over the last 12 months, particularly in the voluntary sector, I've found so many wonderful people that work in the voluntary sector that we never see, never hear of until you become mayor and you go around to all these different functions and different fairs and fetes and see just what they do. Without our voluntary sector, all of the boroughs of this country would be far poorer. They make our boroughs partly what they are. So we need to remember that and try and help them as much as we can in the future. I'm very sad to have lost my seat in Brockmore and Pensnet, but I will be back, louder and stronger, so be prepared. Thank you.
Could I now call on Des Greenaway to come forward for the Chief Executive to present him with the Past Mayor's Consort badge. So moving on to the main agenda, do we have any apologies for absence? I have received apologies from Councillors Stuart Henley and Simon Phipps. Are there any other apologies for absence?
Councillor Casey.
I move that the minutes of the meeting held on the 17th of April 2023 be approved as a correct record and signed. Does the Council agree? That is carried. Everyone connected with the Council will have been shocked and deeply saddened by the recent death of our friend and colleague, Councillor Richard Boddy. There will be an opportunity to pay full tributes to Richard at the next Council meeting. At this point, can I ask the Council to observe a minute of silence as a mark of respect to the memory of Councillor Richard Boddy? Thank you. Members of the Council, the Mayor's Consort is Councillor James Clinton. The Deputy Mayoress is Mrs. Gloria Lee. My chaplain will be Reverend Mark Hemus. The Mayor's charity appeal for 23-24 will be Dudley Community First Responders, Mary Stevens Hospice, Ups and Downs and prostate cancer. The at-home event will take place on a date to be arranged, and Armed Forces Day will be on the 25th of June 2023. The date of Civic Sunday will be notified in due course, and the Black Country Festival Music Con event will be held at Himley on the 15th and the 16th of July. The Mayor's Charity versus Councillors versus Officer cricket match will be held on a date to be agreed at the Memorial Ground, Stourbridge. At this point, I would like to welcome the new councillors who were elected on the 4th of May 2023. Carl Denning and his assistant's dog Bilko, Matt Dudley, Wayne Little, Adela Kayoum, Claire Sullivan, Andrew Tromans, Mark Webb and Karen Westwood. I would also like to pay tribute to the service given by the former councillors who were not re-elected on the 4th of May. Rita Ahmed, Sue Greenaway and Anne Millwood. Are there any declarations of interest under the Members' Code of Conduct?
There are none, Madam Mayor.
Therefore, I move that the report concerning the Leader of the Council may be received and noted.
Madam Mayor, just a small, we'd agreed to make a small contribution, myself and the Leader, if that would be accepted.
Yeah, that's fine. Yeah, Councillor Harley.
Okay, thank you, Madam Mayor.
Apologies, Councillor Zardo, I wasn't aware.
I'll keep this brief and short. Richard Boddy wasn't a party colleague of mine, but he was a council colleague. It's rare for elected members to pass away in service. It's very rare for us to have to get up like this to talk about a colleague who, until recently, be sitting next to us, speaking at scrutiny committees, speaking at full council, playing their full part in that council and scrutiny process. It's extremely rare, Madam Mayor. The most recent one obviously being my former deputy, former councillor, David Vickers. So it's a very rare occurrence, and when it happens, I think it brings home to us all just what our frailties are, and it really does tell us to make the most of every single day that we're on this earth. Richard had fought obviously a very hard campaign and draining campaign that clearly had a toll on his health. And campaigns are frustrating, they are stressful. And what brings it home to me personally is that Richard got elected to this authority the same day that I did in 2004 in the last all-out elections. And that really does strike it home to me. He's also a very similar age, so it does really make you think about your own mortality. He had a good sense of humour. A lot of members wouldn't be aware of that, particularly on our side, but when you spoke to him away from the hullabaloo of party politics, Richard had a good sense of humour, and he's a good community councillor and a really, really nice person who, I can remember him sleeping out with Pete Lowe Rough quite a few years ago now, in all weathers, to raise awareness for homelessness, charities, etc., and the plight of those who are homeless. So we've lost a good colleague and a really good person, and our condolences go to his family, friends, and obviously to colleagues on the opposite side of the chamber. Thank you, Madam Mayor.
Thank you, Councillor Harley. Councillor Zardo.
Thank you, Madam Mayor, and thank you also for accepting this small contribution. I thought we'll have time, obviously, for everybody to pay their tributes. Firstly, I wanted to say thank you to colleagues opposite who have been really generous in their condolences, and I have shared that directly with the family, and also the wider community who have absolutely reached out to us, expressing exactly the same shock that we experienced. I'd communicated with him at least an hour before I'd heard the news, and I couldn't believe this, especially as the strength of the communication that we were having was around next year, and the momentum that he'd already built. He fought a hard campaign. He won by 21 votes, and it was a very tight 21 votes. And he knew that throughout the campaign. And irrespective of the personal battles he was having with two NEOPs, he was determined to personally walk the streets, and a number of times I'd had to restrain him if that was even possible for those that knew Richard. And as I've said, he was a unique and individual character. He had his own way of doing business, but the colleagues that knew him well in Cradley and Woolliscote, and obviously the residents, respected that. And he did an immense amount of work, some of which wouldn't have crossed our radars. And when we get the opportunity to have a full tribute to him, we'll hear some of this. And I'll certainly share with you my experience when I joined his running club, albeit for a short period of time, he was the chairman of Homer Hill Parks Friends Group. He ran, I think, 12 marathons. He did a 100-mile run. I started a rumour that he once slept with Pete Lowe, and a whole raft of other stuff that he was obviously involved in. I'm saddened that he didn't get the opportunity to meet his grandson that was born a couple of days later, young Cameron James Boddy. and obviously my condolences and my prayers and my thoughts to his wife and children who are having a brave battle with trying to express their grief in a way that only they will know how difficult it is. Thank you once again, and when we get the chance, we have, and I'm grateful for the leader of the council and the wider council when we'll get the opportunity to award him a honorary alderman in due course, which again, in the style of Richard Body, will never have happened before in this council. So his uniqueness lives on. Madam Mayor, thank you.
Thank you, Councillor Zada. I echo both remarks. That's fine.
Richard Body was an exceptional man, and his life was a true inspiration to many. As a son, husband, father, brother and grandfather, he lived a life filled with love and devotion to his family. He leaves behind his wife of 37 years, Rachel, his 2 sons, Ashley and Liam, and his 6 grandchildren, Danielle, Jade, Marley, Darcy, Elise, and just last week, Cameron. Richard was a true pillar of his community as a passionate councillor for Cradley and Walliscote. He dedicated his life to raising thousands of pounds for charity and helping those in need. His love for running was evident in the many marathons and ultramarathons he completed, pushing himself to achieve greatness while suffering from severe arthritis and then overcoming knee replacement surgery on both legs. His entrepreneurial spirit was also evident, founding multiple businesses throughout his life. Richard loved the outdoors and enjoyed walking his dogs and exploring nature. He was an avid traveller, exploring the world with his wife Rachel. He was passionate about learning new languages, including Welsh and French. Richard was a selfless man who always put others before himself, and his kindness and generosity will be missed by many. As a family, we've always known what a kind, caring and compassionate man he was, and we've been overwhelmed by the outpouring of concern. We've been blown away by the acts of thoughtfulness and kind words from people we don't know, but who wanted to share with us all that he did to support them and their families over the years. There are too many to answer individually, and we thank you. Richard's legacy will continue to live on in the hearts and minds who knew him. His dedication to helping others, his love for his family, and his passion for life will inspire all who knew him. May his memory be a blessing to all who loved him. And I just want to say, Richard would have said, what you do is way more important than what you say.
Thank you, Councillor Coulter. I commend all 3 of you on your speeches. It's a really hard time when we lose somebody in the council. And just quickly putting one, when I first joined the council, I was absolutely penniless because Richard Body and Steve Waltho, between the 2 of them, did that much raising money for charity and flooded my email that I was constantly giving out money. And, you know, that's something really good to remember, that he was always there raising money for others. So, thank you. I now move that the report concerning the leader of the council be received and noted. Is that seconded?
Seconded, Madam Mayor.
Does the council agree? That is carried. Appointment and membership of the Cabinet and committees for 2023-24 and related matters. I call on the leader.
Thank you, Madam Mayor. Madam Mayor, members of the Council, I move that the recommendations in the report concerning the appointment, composition and membership of the Cabinet, committees and related matters for 2023-24, together with the details set out in the list circulated at the meeting, be approved and adopted.
Is that seconded?
Formally seconded, Madam Mayor.
That is carried. Constitution and scheme of delegation. I call on the leader.
Thank you, Madam Mayor. Madam Mayor, members of the Council, I move that the recommendations in the report be approved and adopted.
Is that seconded?
Seconded, Madam Mayor.
Does the council agree?
Aye.
That is carried. Programme of meetings for 2023-24. I call on the leader.
Thank you, Madam Mayor. Madam Mayor, members of the Council, I move, number one, that the recommendation in the report and the programme of meetings as circulated this evening be approved and adopted, and secondly, that the lead for law and governance, following consultation with the leader, opposition leader and committee chairs, as appropriate, be authorised to make any necessary amendments to the programme of meetings during the municipal year. Thank you.
Is that seconded?
Yes, formally seconded, Madam Mayor.
And does the council agree?
Aye.
That is carried. Appointments, nominations to other bodies. Again, I call on the leader.
Thank you, Madam Mayor. Madam Mayor, members of the Council, I move that the recommendations set out in the report be approved and adopted.
Is that seconded?
Yes, Madam Mayor.
And does the council agree?
Aye.
That is carried. There is no urgent business, so that concludes the business of the annual meeting of the council. Thank you for your attendance.